After it's over, he's saying, I think golf should be held to a higher standard of decorum.
Golf legends are calling them trash. Team Europe just torched Team USA at the 2025 Ryder Cup, and the aftermath has been brutal. The final score was 15-13 for Europe, marking their first win on American soil in 13 years. But here's the thing, that close score is hiding a disaster. The legends aren't holding back, and what they're saying reveals something deeply broken in American golf. Before we dive into this mess, let's take a moment. If you're loving the drama unfolding here, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. What do you think went wrong? Was it the fans, the captain, the team spirit? Let us know your take on this whole situation. Now let's talk about what really happened at Bethpage Black. Europe arrived on Sunday with an 11.5 to 4.5 lead. That's not a competition anymore. That's a funeral procession. Team USA fought back on Sunday, grabbing 8.5 points out of 12 possible. Players like Cameron Young, Justin Thomas, and Xander Schauffele showed up and delivered. Matt Fitzpatrick secured a crucial half against Bryson DeChambeau. Shane Lowry and Tyrrell Hatton sealed the deal for Europe. But that Sunday comeback, it proved something important. The American players had heart, they had talent, they had grit. So why did they lose? The answer is simple. Management failed them. The 7-point deficit was built entirely on Friday and Saturday. Captain Keegan Bradley admitted it himself. This is no one's fault but mine, he said. That course setup, it was supposed to give America the edge. Instead, it handed Europe the trophy. Let's talk about Bethpage Black. This course is legendary. There's a sign at the first tee warning that it's only for highly skilled golfers. The course is brutal. Big bunkers, narrow fairways, chaos guaranteed. Historically, when America hosts the Ryder Cup, they set up the course to maximize their strengths, raw power, aggressive play, punishing rough that destroys bad shots. But in 2025, Captain Bradley made a catastrophic decision. He cut the rough short and softened the greens. Why? Maybe he thought it would help American precision. Maybe he wanted faster play. Whatever the reason, it backfired spectacularly. By softening the course, Bradley eliminated America's biggest advantage. European players thrive on precision iron play, strategic placement, and elite short games. Bradley turned Bethpage into a European dream course. It's like inviting a boxer to a chess match and then removing the boxing ring. Paul Azinger saw this coming, the 2008 winning captain said. Before the event that he couldn't stand Bethpage Black, he talked about awkward angles, downhill tee shots to fairways that angle away, and uphill second shots, where you can't see the landing area. Azinger said, American players didn't love or know this course, but the PGA of America picked it anyway. This shows a massive disconnect between the people making decisions and the experts who understand Ryder Cup strategy. When your own legends are telling you the venue is wrong, maybe you should listen. Then there's the captain himself. Keegan Bradley was the youngest American Ryder Cup captain since 1983. He was still actively competing. Ranked 11th in the world at the time of his selection, Paul Azinger didn't hold back his criticism. He said the committee should have known better. Picking a player in his prime for the captaincy risks everything. The captain's focus gets divided. Bradley chose not to play, which was ethical, but it highlighted the problem. He was a world-class competitor being asked to focus on logistics, pairings, and psychology. Instead of contributing points, America keeps swinging between extremes. Tom Watson ran a dictatorship in 2014, benching successful pairings and losing badly. Bradley's approach was different, but it still failed. The system is broken. There's no continuity, no stable formula, just reaction after reaction. The biggest failure happened during team sessions. That 11.5 to 4.5 deficit. That came from foursomes and four balls. The pairings were a disaster. Analysis shows America didn't have a solid game plan. They prioritized personal relationships over data. Greg Norman noticed this. He said American players form bonds based on where they went to college or the pods they played in. Europe does it differently. They use sophisticated analytics. They've been doing this since the 2010s. Their system analyzes ball striking compatibility, emotional resilience, and performance curves. They prepare over a multi-year cycle. America reacts, Europe plans. Captain Bradley paired Harris English and Colin Morikawa twice in foursomes at Bethpage. Critics tore that decision apart. It showed that America still relies on feel instead of data. Meanwhile, Europe's analytical machine keeps humming along. Here's a shocking stat. Research using the World Golf Ability metric shows Europe has a theoretical 3-point advantage over America. Even accounting for home course advantage, think about that. Europe's team cohesion, preparation, and strategy consistently override America's raw talent. World rankings favor America, individual skill favors America, but when it comes to team performance, Europe dominates because they've built a system. America has stars. Europe has a machine. Let's look at the numbers. Team Europe had 32 combined matches of experience heading into Bethpage. Team USA had 15. Europe brought 1 rookie, Ludwig Aberg. America brought 4 rookies. 6 European players had match win rates above 50%. Only 3 Americans did. The disparity is obvious. Europe prioritizes testing untested match play experience. America throws rookies into the fire and hopes for the best. This isn't a talent problem. It's a structural problem. Now let's hear from the legends. Greg Norman, former Live Golf CEO, delivered one of the harshest critiques. He said America lacked a really powerful team concept. He compared the American structure based on college connections and practice pods to Europe's unified tour representation. Norman said America is obsessed with analytics, sponsorships, and social optics. Forgetting the sacred emotion of the Ryder Cup, he dropped this bomb. Greatness without grit is just marketing. That line cuts deep. It's an indictment of a culture that prioritizes individual metrics over team unity. Even world number one Scottie Scheffler struggled in the opening sessions, proving that individual talent means nothing when the system is broken. But the worst part of Bethpage, the fans, the New York crowd, was wildly misplaced and profane. They crossed the line repeatedly, personal insults directed at Rory McIlroy's and Shane Lowry's families, profane chants, vicious heckling. Security had to bring in additional state troopers. Tom Watson, a Ryder Cup Hall of Famer, said the behavior stepped over the line. He said American fans need to rein it in. Ian Poulter, a European icon known for thriving in hostile environments, called the scenes ugly and embarrassing stupidity. He said the game of golf lost that day. Even Justin Thomas admitted the atmosphere was unfortunate, wishing Team USA had given fans something to cheer for instead of people to cheer against. Europe prepared for this. They knew the crowd would be hostile. They trained mentally to handle abuse. Paul Azinger had warned that if America started poorly, the crowd could turn on them. Instead, the crowd's toxicity unified Europe. It became an external threat that brought them closer together. The PGA of America failed to enforce conduct standards. They let the spectacle devolve into a shameful display. This damaged golf's reputation globally. America's problems run deeper than one bad weekend. This is about chronic institutional failure after the humiliating loss in 2014 under Tom Watson. The PGA of America created a Ryder Cup task force. The goal was to establish continuity and success. America won 2 of the next 5 matches but has now lost 9 of the last 12. The task force was disbanded in 2015 and replaced by a committee. That shows the problem. America reacts to losses with temporary fixes. Europe builds on decades of institutional memory. Europe stands on the shoulders of its own successful template. They prioritize match play experience and cohesion. Their 2025 team had 32 combined matches played compared to America's 15. That's not luck, that's design. Europe's psychological preparation is elite. They teach players to control the controllables: preparation, pre-shot routine, decision-making. They reframe anxiety, teaching players to view pressure as opportunity. The mindset shifts from "I must not miss" to "I get to show what I can do." This psychological mastery was invaluable at Bethpage. The hostile crowd didn't break them, it fueled them. America focuses on rankings and individual metrics. Europe builds resilient collective culture. Until America adopts this mindset, they'll keep losing. The depth of America's strategic failure becomes even clearer when you examine the specific session breakdowns. Friday morning's foursomes saw Europe take a 3-1 lead. That's not a competitive start, that's a statement. Saturday morning, Europe extended their advantage further. By Saturday afternoon, the deficit had become insurmountable. Each session revealed the same pattern. American pairings looked confused. European pairings looked like they'd been playing together for years. This wasn't coincidence. Europe's pairings are tested in advance through practice rounds and statistical analysis. They know which players complement each other's ball striking patterns. They know who handles pressure together. America seemed to be figuring this out in real time during the actual competition. That's amateur hour at the professional level. Consider the contrast in team selection philosophy. Europe selected players who had proven themselves in the Ryder Cup format. They valued experience over current form in several cases. America went the opposite direction, loading up on rookies and players without match play pedigree. The result was predictable. When the pressure mounted on Friday and Saturday, the inexperienced American players crumbled. They didn't know how to handle the unique intensity of Ryder Cup competition. Meanwhile, European veterans steadied their younger teammates, creating a support system that America simply didn't have. This is what institutional knowledge looks like in action. The fan behavior issue deserves deeper examination because it represents a cultural crisis beyond just one tournament. Golf has always prided itself on being a gentleman's game. Respectful applause, quiet during shots, appreciation for excellence regardless of nationality. What happened at Bethpage was a betrayal of those values. Fans screamed during European backswings. They hurled personal insults about players' families. They created an atmosphere of hostility that had nothing to do with competitive spirit and everything to do with ugly nationalism. Several European players reported hearing comments about their wives and children. That's not fandom, that's harassment. The fact that security couldn't or wouldn't control this behavior is a massive institutional failure by the PGA of America. The international reaction to the fan behavior was swift and damning. Golf publications around the world ran stories condemning the American crowd. European media portrayed Bethpage as evidence of declining American sportsmanship. Social media exploded with videos of the worst moments, spreading the embarrassment globally. This damaged America's reputation not just in golf, but in international sports generally. Future Ryder Cups on American soil will now carry this stigma. International players players will arrive expecting abuse. That's the legacy of Bethpage. The PGA of America should have issued immediate public apologies and announced concrete measures to prevent future incidents. Instead, they remained largely silent, compounding the damage. Let's talk about what this loss means for American golf's future. The Ryder Cup isn't just about one trophy, it's about national pride and the perception of American golf dominance. For decades, America could claim superiority through major championships and world rankings, but the Ryder Cup has become Europe's showcase. 9 losses in the last 12 matches isn't a slump, it's a dynasty. European golf has figured out something fundamental about team competition that America hasn't. They've built a system that consistently outperforms collections of individually superior players. This should terrify American golf leadership because it suggests a deeper problem than just captain selection or course setup. The economic implications matter too. The Ryder Cup generates massive revenue through ticket sales, merchandise, and television rights. American losses hurt the brand value of U.S. golf. Sponsors want to associate with winners, not perpetual losers. If this losing streak continues, it could impact everything from tour sponsorships to junior golf development funding. The financial stakes make the institutional failures even more inexcusable. America has more money, more resources, and more players than Europe, yet they keep losing because they refuse to build the kind of systematic, data-driven, psychologically sophisticated program that Europe has perfected. The silence from current American players after Bethpage speaks volumes. Very few players publicly criticized the team structure or captain's decisions. This suggests a culture of conformity where questioning leadership is discouraged. Europe's team culture appears more collaborative, with veterans mentoring rookies and everyone contributing to strategic discussions. American teams seem hierarchical, with the captain making decisions in isolation and players expected to simply execute. This top-down approach worked in the past when American individual talent could overcome strategic deficiencies, but modern Ryder Cup competition requires more sophisticated team dynamics. Europe has evolved, America hasn't. The statistical evidence of European superiority extends beyond the World Golf Ability metric. Look at performance under pressure. In crucial moments during the 2025 competition, European players consistently delivered, Americans faltered. This isn't about talent, it's about preparation for high-pressure team situations. Europe trains for these moments. America hopes their players' major championship experience will translate. It doesn't. Individual golf and team golf require different psychological approaches. Europe understands this. America treats the Ryder Cup like just another tournament with teammates. That fundamental misunderstanding costs them repeatedly. So what's the path forward? The 2027 Ryder Cup will be at Adare Manor in Ireland. That's an away match. America needs decisive structural reform. First, they must create a permanent analytical directorate. This team should be independent of the captain, focused on statistical modeling for pairing optimization and predictive course setup. Decisions must be data-driven, not based on friendships or gut feelings. This is how you match Europe's analytical machine. Second, America needs strict fan conduct protocols. The Bethpage disaster damaged golf's image. The PGA must establish clear, publicly stated, and strictly enforced protocols. Immediate ejection and permanent bans for anyone engaging in personal abuse. No exceptions. This protects the game's integrity. Third, and most important, America needs the right captain for 2027. Some suggest giving Bradley another chance. That's a mistake. His admitted failures with course setup and analytical decisions disqualify him for an away fixture. The ideal candidate must be a unifying figure with unquestioned authority. Tiger Woods is the answer. Yes, reports say he declined the 2025 captaincy, but his unparalleled authority is necessary to repair the cultural fragmentation Greg Norman identified. Woods commands instant respect. His presence alone elevates focus. Other options include Steve Stricker, who led the victorious 2021 team at Whistling Straits. He offers stability and a proven framework. Webb Simpson is another candidate. He served on the backroom staff in New York and brings analytical awareness. But Woods is the strategic choice. He's the only person who can unify this fractured American culture during a hostile away match. Let's be clear about what happened at Bethpage. This wasn't bad luck. It wasn't a few missed putts. This was a predictable outcome of chronic institutional misalignment. Europe engineered their victory through superior preparation, continuity, and tactical analytics. Their measurable advantage in world golf ability proved that methodology beats raw talent. America's defeat is a scar. It should linger long enough to inspire real change. Accountability must extend beyond Captain Bradley to the PGA Committee that selected a captain in his prime and failed to institutionalize strategic rigor. The road to Adare Manor requires immediate action, structured data-driven reforms, a unifying leader, ideally Tiger Woods, capable of fostering the team concept Greg Norman identified as missing. Until America prioritizes collective resilience and continuity over individual stardom, Europe's dominance will continue. The legends have spoken, the system is broken. The question is whether America will listen. Now it's your turn. What are your thoughts on Team USA's defeat? What changes do you believe are needed for the next Ryder Cup? Drop your comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.